But on to a little bit more serious stuff, right? Like this is gonna be a shorter video. I just wanted to talk about this war that's happening over there with Iran and Israel and USA and all that stuff. And to be honest, it's not on the radar too much. You know, I'm not hearing emergency alerts or anything like that on the phone. All I'm getting is whatever I happen to stumble across on the internet, right? I spent times on both sides of the aisle. You know, I was a Democrat growing up pretty much my whole life. You know, I had that democratic mentality and everything that came along with it until like my later 20s. Once I got into my later 20s, I started understanding the working aspects of like working in America and capitalism and having that opportunity to achieve whatever you are worth, you know, going out there making your own money pretty much, right? Make your own shit. I subscribe to that philosophy, right? And that's not necessarily a philosophy that the Democratic Party has anymore. So it's harder to relate to them because they kind of seem to be more dependent on like government help and programs. And I'm all about going out there and getting it. You know, I got to get it for myself, man. I can't get a handout from the government. That's just not me. But ultimately, I try and be, the double recording, this phone just cut off. But ultimately, I try and walk a straight line, right? Like I try and be honest and open with my thoughts without offending anybody, because a lot of people are very, very sensitive, right? Like so easily can they be offended. Even myself, I get offended, right? Sometimes it doesn't take much to offend me, especially in the political field, right? But it's a matter of how you react, right? I'm able to hear some opinions that I can listen to and be like, oh man, I do not agree with this at all. And then I'm able to just compartmentalize it in my mind and think about it in my brain, right? Not so much causing major interaction, right? Now, sometimes if it's a serious topic that I am more familiar with, like I know some stuff about, like I'll probably speak more fact to anything than emotion, you know, like I'll try and prove shit by stuff that I've seen or heard and whatnot. And that's how I like to do my research, you know. When it comes to political viewpoints and stuff, who's right, who's wrong, you know, there's definitely sides and you can see the sides. One side is for this war. They're saying it needs to get done. The other side is saying, no, we shouldn't be over there messing with people, you know. And then there's a whole slew, right, of people in the middle that are like, man, I'm not even over there. How's this really affecting me, you know? But the empathy we got to have is real, right? Like, got to have that empathy for people. And I think that is one of those things that should be bringing the country together, right? Like, no matter what side of the aisle that you're on, right now we should be coming together and uniting and figuring out what's best for America, you know? Right now it's probably other higher powers that are planning stuff out. You know, I've been listening to people like Piers Morgan and the huge panel that he has on his show. And it's just these folks from all different backgrounds going at it with their opinions and their thoughts on stuff. And sometimes it's a headache, but you're able to hear stuff. You're able to hear opinions and thoughts from people who are actually there, right? So I've heard a lot of stuff and I'm still in the same place. Like, it's not my business. You know, it's not my place to make a judgment decision and say, hey, we need to go over there and do this, right? Like, and I hate to be the one to say this, but really legit, if the Persians and Iranians wanted to do something to America and Americans, there are more than enough Persian Iranians here already that they can be doing something, but they're not. And the ones that I run across in my daily life seem to be peaceful and are keeping to themselves, right? So that's what I see, you know, in the world, right? I don't see extremism from a group of people that's already here, have solid communities within just parts of Los Angeles. I can imagine what it's like in other states, but they're not out here causing trouble, you know. They ain't gangbanging. They ain't up here robbing folks, shooting cats like other gangs are doing, you know. Some gangs are more worse than some of these people. But anyways, I don't know what it's like to be over there, so it's hard for me to give an opinion because I've never been to Iran or in the Middle East, you know. So how can I really be sure what's going on over there other than the opinions of people who I hear, right? And so I try and hear the people themselves. I'm not listening to these news anchors anymore and the big Fox bigwigs and the CNN bigwigs and all that. Like, I've found 3 or 4 solid people on the internet, right? Devory Dawkins is another one, who aren't all on one side. They're not all on the other side. They're just trying to view this stuff from like a common sense realm, right? Like trying to understand why we're doing the things we're doing, and then the consequences of what could happen based off of decisions that are made. Boom, right? Like, I've been alive for 42 years now, 42, 43. Fuck. Old enough to start forgetting where I'm at, right? I'm not 75 quite yet, but hopefully I'll make it that far and I'll have just that much more knowledge. But I can tell you that I've been an adult for over 20 years now, and I've been hearing the same thing for the last 20 years. It's these guys over here got nuclear weapons. We got to take them out and not let them get nuclear weapons, right? And I've never once seen them use any type of missiles or nuclear rockets in my lifetime. But we're using them, right? I think sometimes it's all about the money too, right? Like, there's a lot of money out there in play, right? Just in arsenals, right? Like, people are making money selling weapons, man. I learned about the DuPonts recently, right? The DuPont family that made their money like back in like the Civil War times making bullets, right? They made the bullets and they sold the bullets. They made an empire. And, so, you know, that's how it happens, you know? People get contracts to sell weapons and we sell weapons. We hope nobody uses them. I think the only nation to ever use a nuclear weapon in history is the United States of America. So, I don't know. I love this place, though. I definitely love America and all the freedoms that she affords me. And I want our best interests in mind. And right now, America's biggest crisis is homelessness and borders, right? Got to have borders. And homelessness, man. And the homeless crisis is still alive and active here in California. All this money that they have gotten for the homeless, if you've heard about in your local states, they ain't using it for the homeless. I'm not seeing any homeless shelters built except for the ones that are still underneath the freeways. Oh, sad stuff.